110, 110, baby, this is what I give. 110.
What's up, fellas? Chris Teresi here, professional sports bettor, founder of WeCoverSpreads.com, here to give you guys a Wednesday market report. Got a lot to talk about. Before we get into that, though, you can get my Wednesday 5-star all-access pass. We have 5 stars on both college football games, all-inclusive, any NBA and college hoops we had later, all into that. 57% run the last 46 days. Short-term, 64% all sports run last 9 days. 75% won 6 of our last 8 college hoops bets. 64% long-term NCAA football run we're on right now. So you guys can pick that all up on the site in my Wednesday all-access pass. Start with college football. According to local sources of mine, Texas getting 7 out of 10 bets. As far as the side goes, 50-50 on a total. About 6 out of 10 bets and parlays with Texas in this game tonight. It opened at 3. It's up to 3.5 here at local shops with a -115 VIG to bet California. I know shops offshore and in Vegas. Talked to my Vegas contact. He hit 4, and 4 was a resistance point where they did see buyback from sharps at 4, moving this down to 3.5 or whatever. So 4 was the point where sharps kind of bought in on Cal. That was a buy-in number there. And there's still some 4s floating around out there. I guess if you search around, the total opened up at 48.5, and it's been floating around all week, and it's back down to 48 come press time. So kind of depends who you speak with. The public, books, the heaviest bet game they got on the night is Texas. That's the most money. That's the most popular bet they got going into tonight. So they'll be probably rooting for Cal in this spot here. And then, like I said, sharps, they hopped in at 4 to hop in on Cal, and there are guys that did take Texas at 3, so 3.5 is kind of that middle point right there. NBA, most popular public bets. Now, these are bets that I'm not saying don't bet them. I'm not saying that I'm not saying I'm betting them. I'm not saying it's bad to bet them, but usually 90% of the time I stay off of these games here. When I talk about the most heavily public bet games, those are games I'm not really trying to get involved in, for the most part, unless I got these at the opening number, the best value possible. When this line opened up, then I would have, if I liked any of them, I would have bet them right away. That's what I say when I say you want to get a quote-unquote square play at the sharp number. That's the opening number, because you're going to get the most value after the betting public has been oversaturating these numbers on these following games. You're getting no value. So the teams that fall into this are Miami tonight, Atlanta, Boston, Oklahoma City, and the Knicks. Those are the most heavily bet public games. Those are games, for the most part, I probably don't want much to do with any of those games right there. And that's pretty much the way that breaks down. As far as moves that sharps did make in the NBA today, the Pacers, they moved from 3 to 4. Here locally, they didn't move as drastically up to 4. We're still at 3.5 here with Indiana, but that's my sleeper team this year in the East. I'm not saying they're going to win the East, but they're going to do damage. Watch out for the Indiana Pacers. They're going to be making bettors money this year. I've been tweeting about them. The Pacers are my sleeper team this year. The Bobcats at 10.5 definitely saw some sharp buy-in. Denver was a sharp move. They moved from 9 all the way up to 12, a big 3-point swing. So if you take Denver now, you're getting the worst of the number without a doubt. 76ers, when that opened at a pick'em, sharps came in quickly on them. That's why I seen books adjust up to 1.5. And the Knicks did see, when it opened at 2.5, they did see sharp money. Now you got public money involved in that, so books are really hoping for some Golden State money. That's why they've adjusted all the way up to 5 already on that game. And one thing you got to remember, the Knicks are good, though. They're a good team playing at Western Conference teams. Last year, D'Antoni went 10-4-1 against the spread against Western Conference teams on the road, so they play good against them. Bigger total moves, the Miami-Charlotte total, huge move, 185 opener all the way up to 192.5. So if you're trying to, that was a big over move. If you bet it over now, you're getting the worst of the number. The Cleveland-Detroit open 190, bet down to 187 with some under support. Washington-Atlanta open 185. It's up to 186, 186.5 offshore, but it's already up to 187 here local in New York right now. Probably will hit 187 everywhere else. And the Knicks Golden State opened at 202. It's already up up to 205 here locally. I think it's a little below that in most other markets offshore and in Vegas, but they'll be hitting 205 within the next hour. So college basketball, lighter volume because with the NBA and the college bowl games, but they're seeing some action. The most heavily bet public game is UConn, without a doubt, but other recreational games you're getting thrown in there are Purdue, Indiana State, Wichita, Columbia, probably games that books will be rooting the other way, and they're getting recreational money on some of those games, as well as some sharps also, like Columbia is a game sharps did throw some sharp, hit some money on in that game against Marist. So that's a game they'll be one-sided on. That's why you've seen it move from 2.5 to 3.5 games here. Now, when I talk about these sharp moves in any sport, doesn't mean I endorse them. This is just info I've gathered from various sources of mine. So it doesn't mean it's a bet that I'm telling you to go bet. It may be a bet maybe you liked already. Hopefully, then maybe you could trigger it, or maybe it's a game that wasn't on your radar. Now it could be on your radar. You could look more into it. But I'm not telling you to go and bet these games here. This is, informational purposes only, bro. We got Buffalo opened at 10. They were bet down to 9. George Washington opened at 3. They were bet up to 4. Fairfield 4 down to 2.5. Southern Utah from 5.5 bet down to 4. Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne from 12.5 were bet down to 11. Montana State bet from 4 down to 2. New Mexico also getting public money, but they did see some sharp money early on that 1.5 opener. That's why that's all the way up to 3.5 now. Books getting both sharp and square money on that one. Portland State opened 10, bet down to 9. Arkansas Pine Bluff opened at 6, bet down to 5. Seton Hall, Syracuse over, probably one of the bigger moves, open 137. It's already up to 140. And also Charlotte, Arkansas open 138, bet up to 141. So those are your most biggest moves that we're talking about the market make today. Do your homework, don't just bet all those moves I gave you in every game there. That's the heaviest moves in the market. A lot of that can also change. Some of it could be head fake money. That's what makes a sharp better if you could decipher through it and get the best of the number early. And then if you could see any of these are head fake, if they start to move the other way right before tip off or kickoff or whatever, then you're seeing that guys are buying off that position, or it was a head fake move that they truly didn't like that position. Any other questions? Like if all this doesn't sink in, hit me up on Twitter at any time. Also email me, wecoverspreads@gmail.com. No problem answering guys' questions. I could further explain what's going on in these videos, and it's twitter.com / or whatever Chris Torrisi, CHRISTORRISI. Alright guys, I'm signing off. Make some money tonight.